Directive. I'm your host, Jefficho. My co-host today, Sean.
Hi there.
So we talk a lot of Star Trek on this channel, but I think it's time we start talking about Babylon 5.
Hells yeah!
I mean, we've referenced how great it is. Well, why don't we start talking about how great it is, and maybe some people will actually go back and start watching it.
Exactly. It's an amazing show.
So we're going to cover Babylon 5, The Gathering. It's the pilot episode, and then we'll move on through the other movies, because doing the series can take forever.
Yeah, it's true.
This will, of course, be reported to the highest authority.
Fair enough. But as far as I'm concerned, they could sit out there for the next solar year. If it makes you feel any better, I could send them a fruit basket.
So Sean, this episode starts out with Londo talking and Laura Takashimi as their first officer on Babylon 5.
Yeah, she was only there for a brief time, but I don't know, I think Ivanova was a little bit better in the role, but you might disagree with
We
that.
got to spend more time with Ivanova. We don't know how well this girl would have kept going, you know.
That's
could have
very true.
evolved.
It's very true.
I enjoyed her in this episode, but Ivanova does outshine her.
Yes.
So her and the doctor, Dr. Benjamin Kyle.
Right.
He gets replaced by Franklin later.
Yeah, I kind of liked him. I mean, I think he would have been fine in the whole series, but they obviously decided to go a different route, or he was not available when the series got picked up.
He felt very Bones-like.
Yeah, curmudgeon-y.
Very, very experienced. Wasn't overly grumpy. Kind of optimistic, but
Yeah, actually, I know grumpy at all.
You look exhausted.
I am. I've been taking stims to stay alert. It's awful stuff.
Well, how about some coffee? It's fresh. Grounded about an hour, though.
So we follow Sinclair, who meets up with Lyta. She just got on a station, and right then and there, a dust dealer has got to be trying to smuggle shit on board. And so Garibaldi's trying to defuse the situation, and Sinclair negotiates his surrender. He's like, you can either leave, or you can leave the dust and stay.
Yep, and I think this was all just to show right out of the gate that this wasn't going to be another Star Trek series. This was its own thing. They were talking about drugs, more hints of violence. So I think that was all kind of I would say that it was kind of planned out that way. So
Yeah, it was interesting because it's showing Lyta the kind of man that Sinclair is, but then half an hour later she thinks that he killed Kosh.
Well, to be fair, she just met him, so I mean.
Yeah, and she didn't know shit about a changeling net and this and that, so she's literally saw him in the vision.
Yeah, and nobody knew anything about Vorlons either, so I mean.
We get to see Sinclair do a little cock blocking. You know, he tells the guy who's staring at this chick or whatever, he's like, I don't think you want to do that.
Well, to be fair, if
To be fair.
she really does eat him, he was guarding his cock, because that probably would have been on the menu.
What are you, a bigot or something?
No, but obviously you've never met an Arnassian before. After they finish, they eat their meat.
They do eat their mates, apparently. The Ardassians, which sounds suspiciously like Cardassians.
Yeah, it's weird, almost like Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 have things in common, and
Yeah.
we're borrowed from each other. It's almost like someone read the same book or something.
No, well, let's go back to talking about Lyta.
Right.
Wait a minute. So Sinclair actually had to explain Babylon 5 to her and why it's called Babylon 5. Why is that, Sean?
Because the first four were destroyed, and for some reason they thought we should spend another gajillion dollars making this 5 mile long, 100 million quadrillion pound monstrosity.
They do go into the it costs a lot to make these stations, but we just keep doing it. And they're like, but that's what Earth is, so we don't give up. We're stubborn like that.
That's right.
But the correction is 1 through 3 blew up, 4 disappeared.
Oh yeah,
4 disappeared.
of course, that was unforgivable.
Fully operational.
Although, to their understanding, 4 was a lost cause completely. So
Yeah.
But you're right. It did.
I'd hate to be the financial guy. Just like,
You've got to be kidding me.
this one didn't blow up. It just vanished? What are you guys doing with my money?
You're all cursed. I'll never
Yeah.
do this again.
Yeah. There was some strange mechanical, Babylon 5 CGI was, state of the art at the time.
Yes.
But
25 years ago.
Yeah, it decided to start CGI before anybody else. Where DS9 waited a little bit before they went to the later seasons. Otherwise, they were using models.
Right.
I still kind of think models is the way to go. It's cheaper.
Especially at that point. And granted, Deep Space Nine probably had a much bigger budget too. But
even now, though, I think like Orville does half CGI, half models, and I think they're doing the best right now for like production time.
True. But I think CGI has gotten to a point now where it's almost indistinguishable from like, old time.
The painful times of Enterprise where they would CGI an office and I'd be like, why? Why must I look at this fake CGI office?
That was that awful period in the early mid 2000s where they thought we can totally do this and people will believe it. And no, we didn't believe it at all.
We didn't. But so the CGI spider mechanical thing attaches itself to the station. I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with Jakar. And he's being difficult, with the first officer. And so basically the whole secret plot was Jakar smuggled this guy onto the station through that thing. And that guy causes some issues.
Yeah, for almost everyone involved.
Yeah. They have a sky train.
Yes.
And it's literally in the sky.
Yes.
Random fact. We're not going to do that. So we're just going to have to random facts.
We're just going to talk.
We're
just going to talk.
You're like, Delenn looks like a man.
That's right. Nice cheekbones.
Notice the waves, each moving in its own order. Predictable, unchanging.
So Sinclair's walk with Lyta is very expositional. So he's going on about how all 4 governments have to be there for this to work, and that no one's ever seen like what a Vorlon looks like outside their council. Did they even see a Vorlon before that?
No, I'm guessing not, because they were like, oh my god, they're angels!
They're beautiful, beautiful angels.
They're beautiful.
Are you an angel?
Well, why don't you go on about Jakar and them?
Well, yeah, they had to be expositional because how else are we going to learn what's going on in this weird place that they built 5 times? But yeah, it was really neat how they showed that Straczynski had all the character arcs, looks like plotted out right from the very beginning. When it comes to Jakar, you can't really trust him, and he's obviously up to something. And then Londo is from like a, once proud alien race, but now they're just trying to get by basically. And I just thought it was just really interesting how obviously it's commonplace now with Game of Thrones and all these shows that have these massive arcs and massive stories that take a long time to explain. This was pretty revolutionary when he did this in 1993.
We had your standalone episodes, but it was all connected.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where DS9 kind of followed in suit later on.
Yeah.
Delenn, she was full shell at the time.
Yeah.
And she also kind of looked weird. Didn't you say that was for something they had planned?
I read somewhere that they had originally planned Delenn to be a man, Minbari, and then when he became half human, it would be half human woman Minbari. But I'm not sure if that was a little too soon. Granted, it was the mid '90s, and they hadn't quite got on board with the transgender thing just yet. So anyway, the decision was made to just make. I think it's actually more they couldn't make Delenn a believable man.
Oh, it's an alien race. How can you tell?
It's the level where the bones are.
Yeah. Well, we got to see jump gates. That was an interesting way to travel. Different from what we're used to.
Yeah.
And I really like hyperspace and stuff. And they had so many great stories in hyperspace.
Yeah, I know. A whole other level that Star Trek could have done but didn't really seem to. I mean, they kind of alluded to something in the motion picture with the asteroid or something, but like that's pretty much it as far as I can tell. They don't really have a hyperspace where stuff can go wrong or whatever. But
yeah, and we meet Carolyn Skies, the captain's girlfriend. She wasn't too bad in this. She brought her frictionless sheets.
Yes.
This isn't a good time.
I know. Let me make it better.
One of the many sexual references in this pilot episode.
There were a few. She was later replaced by Julia Nixo, Catherine Sakai. I much prefer her. She showed up in 3 episodes. Her chemistry, I thought, was both of them had decent chemistry, I thought, but I don't know, the character was better.
Right. Yeah. No, I liked her a lot. But yeah, I thought it was also interesting to see how, again, Straczynski planned trapdoors for all characters in the show, apparently, just in case an actor couldn't come back from the major series. It even refers to saying, like, if you don't find more time, spend more time together, we're gonna break up, basically, and that's what happened. So I mean, it was very interesting stuff.
Yeah, even the first officer and the doctor apparently go off to the other rim or the Vorlons homeworld or something like that. They like get reassigned.
Right, because they've seen one, or at least the doctor did.
Next, Kosh pretty much gets killed. And here's his brand new ambassador no one's ever seen. And you're dead.
Yeah, walking god too.
Yeah, it's just people trying to sabotage everything. There's a nice political landscape to it, where like even Sinclair had to like surrender to the senators, being like, "Oh, like you're relieved," and I never really relieved him. Just said you're not in charge of the investigation.
You can still do stuff.
Yeah,
you're just not in charge.
You're our captain, but until we find a replacement. We got to find out that he brought Garibaldi on, that nobody else wanted Garibaldi. You know, it really, the best thing about this was everybody had a problem. There was no like perfect characters.
Yeah.
And Garibaldi's doing the investigation on the whole thing. Really lazily though. Like, I'm gonna go talk to Londo and talk to these other people that really had nothing involved in it. Londo's a big gambler, big drinker. Pretty consistent with the rest of the series.
Yeah.
There, you see. It's your fault. Your bad luck. Always said that about him. Now come on. Look, you're a security chief. Shouldn't you be out securing something?
Quasi-male Delenn has a gravity ring, which you never see again. And I'm kind of sad because I kind of enjoyed it. And threatening Jakar is always fun, especially in the early years. Later on, he was too nice. That'd be wrong. But I like the gravity ring. And what's up with that?
I felt she was a bit more aggressive in this than I'm used to, Delenn.
You are being held by a force of 2 gravities. You will swear, here and now, that you will never again mention the Great Council in my presence.
Usually she's a non-violent person.
Yeah. No, she had to lay down the law.
We get more exposition from Londo, and he tells us all about the Earth War and how the Minbari just gave up. They just they just stopped for some reason, which we'll be able to explain in the next one in the beginning. But,
foreshadowing.
Yeah. Storyline wise, we find out that Del Varner is this like arms dealer and drug dealer and smuggler, and he just runs around at different places, and he's got a changeling net which can change his appearance. It doesn't seem to have any control over it, because when he gets in a fight he just starts changing appearances. But he's the one behind it, and it's all to frame Sinclair so that they can have the Vorlons blow up this station.
Yeah.
Like, do they have to find? I wonder if we go back to each Babylon 5 if they found a different way to blow it up. They're like, this terrorist organization will always be original.
I just thought they did such a good job with, because we reviewed the pilots from the Star Trek series and then watched this one. I just felt like they just did a great job in, again, explaining why everyone was there, giving a little bit of backstory to some of the characters, and it was interesting, and even without knowing all that's to come, because there's so much that comes, obviously, that follows this, but it was just a really well put together pilot that it was exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, you can listen to Sinclair talk and just put you straight to sleep. Such a soothing voice.
Soothing voice.
I feel safe.
Yes, in your arms.
Yeah.
We would sit, quiet, at peace, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out.
The doctor was told not to operate on Kosh, and he has no idea what he's doing anyways, but he does it anyways.
Yeah.
And so that's the excuse of why the doctor and the first officer were sent off later.
Right.
But he does find a way to save him somehow. I mean, it's all transparent. Like, Kosh is like, you probably put your hand through him. So
but he was napping, wasn't he?
When they put a drug patch on him or whatever to kill him, like, how?
Yeah. But maybe he was napping. Maybe he has solid form when he's asleep. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vorlons.
Well, they figured out it, and then Sinclair chases down Del Varner, and they have a nice little gunfight with these giant ass guns. I think even Delenn helped save him. Because Delenn and him have this special relationship, which we learn about later.
Yes.
But in this one, it gets alluded to a bit.
Right. And so at this point, is he still considered to be the love interest of Delenn, possibly, or like that's something we could always debate.
They kind of make it seem like it's just friends, but we all know that he has a Minbari soul.
Right. So is this a setup for something to come later? Which never does, because obviously he leaves the show, but...
Yeah, it's interesting, because when you think about it, Sinclair and Sheridan, like, were they the same character? They just kind of swapped them out, but then, like, how would you plan the whole Valen thing? It's so complicated.
It's brilliant, though. I think that's what happened, though. I think that the story goes, that Sinclair was supposed to be the captain through the whole series, and that when Michael O'Hara couldn't carry on, they brought in Boxleitner, and they somehow, like, again, I'd never heard of another series or anything where like something like that was even attempted, and yeah, it seemed like flawless, especially with War Without End and that whole tying up Valen and everything, just amazing. And that's when they go back and they fix the Gathering. When he first meets Kosh, he says Intil's Valen, right? Like he's already like making that work into the storyline, so it's pretty amazing.
It's interesting when you think of other shows that kind of did that, or were heading towards that direction of replacing your main character. When Picard's negotiations were coming up and they brought Jellicoe out.
Right.
Would I really have to watch Ronnie Cox as my captain for like seasons after that? And would they just kill Picard on Cardassia then?
He's just so damn grumpy.
Yeah, Ronnie Cox is always the bad guy, even in RoboCop. Come on. So we do eventually find out that Del Varner is actually a warrior caste Minbari who is a little pissed that they, surrendered at the Battle of the Line there. And even the captain's girlfriend is just like, you were at the Battle of the Line? Why didn't you tell me? Because people don't talk about the Battle of the Line, okay?
That's right. Especially when you were tortured.
Even at the end, was it Delenn and Sinclair just sitting around and it's just like, there's a hole in your mind. Like, why would you say that? You're giving him hints now.
It's just an insult. It means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's 24 hours missing from the war for Sinclair.
But wouldn't you be cheesed off too? I mean, like, you're this close to conquering, granted, the humans weren't putting up much of a fight, it seems like, except for Sheridan and the whole Black Star thing.
Trying.
We were trying, but they weren't doing much. And you're like, this close, and they're like, we surrendered.
But Sean, then this episode ends with them like having all the ambassadors show up and meet and be like, meet and greet, hi, how you doing?
Right.
So in the end, this episode was, like you said, an excellent way just to set everything up.
Yeah.
And then, we replaced a lot of the characters.
Yeah. But again, like, setup was there, the ideas were there. There was some, and I think a couple of characters needed to go. Anyway, it was a great pilot episode, and it really, a bringer of what was to come later on, for sure.
I thought it was interesting that, like, here we get introduced to Lyta Alexander, who then, when the series starts, becomes Talia Winters.
Right.
And then, when Talia's got to leave, because he has a plan for everybody leaving, Lyta comes back.
I actually heard that it was supposed to be Talia the whole way through, and I think that Andrea Thompson just decided that she had other things to do. But it was a perfect way to bring Lyta back, and Lyta was a great character.
It could have been easy. For one, Babylon 5 is a constant uphill climb to get season after season.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the little sci-fi that did, like, they thought they were only going to get 4 seasons, and they had to kind of compress it all. And then, why don't you guys have a 5th season? Yeah. Oh, great, thanks.
And that gave us Byron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, was it you that told me that they really had to rush the Shadow War because of this?
Yeah, exactly. You basically said you have to wrap up the Shadow War and the Earth Rebellion storyline in, 3/4 of a season?
I think they did 4 episodes for the Earth Rebellion.
Yeah.
Just wrapped it up.
And can you imagine how that would have worked out when they do the Shadow War for season 4 and then the President Clark storyline for season 5?
Do you think it still would have ended with, go home, we don't need you in our galaxy anymore?
Yes, a verbal thrashing.
All your weapons, that's
it's kind of like
good.
It's kind of like the Burnham thing from Discovery. It's like, you know what? We're just gonna talk you out of this.
It's over because we've decided it's over. Now get the hell out of our galaxy, both of you.
The Vorlons were a little more aggressive in this one because they brought their fleet to destroy the station, of which, again, probably only needed 1.
Yeah. Definitely needed one. They're like the little tiny one, like the one person one, but you know, you gotta make a statement. This is the first show,
Yeah.
so
That makes sense. Our tech on the bridge, or command center, was Lieutenant David Corwin in the series, but in this one, it was played by the actor who plays Morton.
Mr. Morton.
So, like, was he undercover this whole time?
The answer to that, I think, is a definite yes.
Storyline-wise, I think he was part of Anne's crew or whatever when they crashed on Zahadum.
Right. So they kind of worked that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to be conscious or unconscious during the mating? I would prefer conscious, but I don't know what your pleasure threshold is.
Well, that about covers The Gathering. Overall, it's a really good pilot.
Yeah, loved it.
We'll jump into In the Beginning next. I think you went ahead and watched that before me.
I did, yes.
I rewatched. But that one pretty much just covers the war, right?
Yep, the 10 years before The Gathering, basically. Yeah.
We'll cover that one next and maybe be a little more fluid in our coverage.
Probably not.
As always, thanks for watching.